Does Siege need an Overwatch system? Hey, what's up guys, IrishTail here, and in today's video, I want to attempt to answer, and sort of ask that question. Does Siege need an Overwatch system? So, why is this sort of question come about, you might be asking? And basically the reason for this is because very recently on Siege, I've noticed a very small influx of cheaters. I've seen a couple of Reddit posts as well indicating these people, and it's bugging me. And you might be saying, oh, they're probably not cheating, they're probably just really good, and I'm going to disagree, okay? I was playing against a guy. I'm not going to show the video because that would be wrong. I'm not going to name and shame, but he was obviously cheating. The reason I know he was cheating is because every time he killed me, his crosshair was directly over my player model on my head, regardless of if he'd seen me or not. So the first kill cam I got, he was looking through a wall, and he was basically tracking me through this wall as he moved, went to the door, sidestepped the door, and shot my head immediately. And he didn't move off my player model at all during any of that movement. And I thought, okay, maybe I've been spotted, but the next round he did the exact same thing, except he moved across, I was moving, and he had his reticule through a wall on my head the entire time. The moment I stepped out of a reinforced wall into a normal wall, he shot and killed me. And I knew this was cheating because it was obvious that's what he was doing. In the kill cam you could see he was doing it as well. And I reported this guy. I reported him and I said, look, this is obviously cheating. And then 2 games later, I see this guy again on the enemy team. And that really pissed me off because it kind of implies to me that the report button does absolutely fuck all in Siege. And, I was talking to a couple of friends about this and they pointed me some Reddit videos that show the same thing. And we said, would an Overwatch system in Siege stop this? Do you think if we had a system where players could identify cheaters, would this reduce the amount of people? Because obviously, if you don't know what Overwatch is, essentially, it's a system in Counter-Strike Go where you watch a video of a person, and if you think they're cheating, you report them for what you think they were doing, or if they're griefing, you report them for that. And basically, the system works as good players can identify cheaters because they know what you would and wouldn't do in most situations. And basically the debate went, would Siege work with that kind of thing? And we sat around for a while, we talked about it, and the friends I was talking with kind of sat there and went, well, they took a real split. And I kind of want to put both sides of the argument to you guys. Let's just jump into that. So the first side of the argument from my first friend was, I think an Overwatch system would work in Siege. Now, his reasoning was several points, and the first point he made was, if you have an Overwatch system in Siege, you know for a fact if you catch a cheater, if you report him for a certain thing, that player is then going to be thrown up to Ubisoft to have them check whether or not this person is cheating, if enough people think they are. And because you're doing that, you know for a fact these players are going to get called out and they're going to get banned. And then he just pointed out again, because of the current system, you don't know if a player's going to get banned after you report them, and it makes no difference when you see them again. So that was kind of his point, and he said, he doesn't like it, he'd prefer if there was a better system in place, and Overwatch seems like the best thing. His other point was that if you have an Overwatch system in Siege, you can identify griefers. Now, essentially, Siege has no way of pointing out a griefer except for hitting that report suspicious behaviour button. And that doesn't encompass people that are doing things like shooting you but not killing you, shooting the hostage till they're injured, blowing you up, all those kind of stupid things where they don't quite kill you, but they're doing things that are deliberately there to irritate you. So maybe boxing you into a room and then reinforcing the walls around you. Stupid stuff like that. And you can't report people for that. But with an Overwatch system, if you were watching that sort of thing, you could report them for griefing and you'd know that they were going to get done for that. And this system could also then encompass glitching. If a person's glitching and they get reported for an Overwatch case, they'd obviously then get reported for griefing because they're abusing a system they shouldn't be abusing, and they'd go in and they'd be reported for it. And the argument was fairly good. I understood where he was coming from, and he said things like it gives you a bit more feedback, you feel a bit better about it, and so on and so forth. Basically the pros of Counter-Strike's Overwatch. And then my other friend went, yeah, but I think you're going a bit too in-depth on this. I don't think Siege needs a system like that. He said, look at it this way. If you have an Overwatch system, people are going to be doing things stupidly, and you don't know how a certain person might play. you don't understand the sort of plays they might be doing, and they could just get lucky and get a wall bang, because Siege is full of that. The amount of people that get lucky wall bangs in Siege is ridiculous, and if somebody gets a lucky wall bang, you might go, oh, aim assistance, and just report them immediately. And that's not really fair, because that happens more often than it does in other games, because of the way Siege is designed. So he just said he doesn't think an Overwatch system would work that way. He also then pointed out other things like you don't actually know how good Overwatch is. Valve don't release those numbers because they don't want to. Essentially, Overwatch, in Valve's eyes, is you help the community, you're not doing it to get any kind of medals. So if you're really good at Overwatch cases, you're not going to get any feedback to say you're really good, because that way you don't game the system to get anything. And you don't actually know if they've done any good. You assume they have, but Valve haven't released those numbers, and so you don't necessarily know they'd help with Ubisoft. Now, he then said, what instead if you had a grief button? So instead of just report player, you could report griefer as well, and that covers one of your issues, which is obviously you can then report people for glitching or griefing you. For Honor, the new game Ubisoft released has a report for griefing button in it. So in theory, they could just put that into Siege and, add it in. And, the debate went back and forth. There are other things like, if you have an Overwatch system, you know for a fact that if somebody's cheating, but the cheats get around BattlEye, at least you're still catching them and they're still going to get banned, because some people can get around it, blah, 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 blah. And the argument went on for ages. And when I was listening to this, I kind of thought, you know what, I actually agree with my friend who doesn't want an Overwatch system. Don't get me wrong, if there was an Overwatch system, it would be good, but I think if you just had added a report for griefing button as well as a report for suspicious behaviour button, that would kind of benefit Siege. But I would have an extra little addendum added on. Now, this comes from Microsoft, so if you've ever played on an Xbox or reported anyone for abusive chat on Xbox, you might know that if a person is offensive to you and you report them, if Microsoft deem that person to be offensive, they will actually send you a message saying, thank you for letting us know about this person, they have been dealt with accordingly, or something similar to that. They basically give you feedback to say, yes, we've dealt with this player, yes, they are no longer going to be a problem. They don't tell you what they've done to them, just that they've dealt with them. And I think Ubisoft would benefit from something like that in Siege. So if I reported somebody, if I got an email 2 weeks later that said to me, this player, the player you reported, it doesn't even give me the name, just says the player you reported has been dealt with accordingly, thank you for your service, or something like that. I would then feel a little better in knowing that this person has actually been dealt with and been removed from the game, or at least been banned for a couple of days. And the same thing would happen with griefing. If I got a message that said to me, thank you for your report of griefing, this player has been dealt with accordingly, again, I would feel a lot better about that. I'd know that I'd physically done something to actually help the community, but I didn't necessarily have to watch a video to figure it out. It was just dealt with that way. And I think that kind of system would work, because at the end of the day, we as human beings live in a very meritocracy-based world. We do things to get things back. You don't do anything for the good of it. It's that old Friends episode where Joey says there are no unselfless deeds, or is it Phoebe that says there? Either way, they said there's no unselfless deeds. You always do something to get something back. So if you give money to charity, you're getting a good feeling back, and that's the thing. Even though you're giving, you're still getting something back. And we live in a society that thrives on that. So if Ubisoft introduced that system just to say, you've done good here, we've got the guy, that would work in my opinion. I think that would be a system that would compromise between an Overwatch, but also improve the current report system and, improve it a little bit. But that's just my opinion and my friends' opinions. And now I have to throw the question to you guys. Do you think Siege needs an Overwatch system? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with me and think that you just need feedback on the current reports? Or would you prefer to actually see a fully fledged Overwatch system? Let me know your thoughts. Or if you think I'm chatting complete shit, again, let me know, give me your opinion instead. Let me know how you'd handle it better. Because I'm interested to know what you guys think. So the whole point of this Sunday series is to get your guys' opinions and hear what you have to say. But like I said, that's my opinion. Let me know yours. Also, if you'd like to have a topic covered next Sunday, feel free to leave that in the comments below. I will have a look through maybe on the Friday or the Saturday, pick a topic, and I will talk about it. But that does it for this video. I really do hope you guys have enjoyed this Sunday video. Obviously, if you have, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe for more Rainbow Six Siege content, and I'll see you in the next one.